I walked toward them, my heels clicking against the marble floor. My mother quickly slid the envelopes into her clutch, pretending nothing happened. "Oh, darling, are you all right?" she asked, voice sugar-coated with fake concern. I stopped a few feet away, my pulse hammering in my ears. "What are you doing with our wedding gifts?" I asked, my voice shaking slightly. My sister, Lily, shrank behind her like a guilty child caught stealing candy. "We're just organizing them," my mother said smoothly, smiling too sweetly. "People kept handing them to us, instead of putting them in the box." Her lies tasted so casual, as if this theft was just another small favor. "I'd like them back," I said, extending my hand toward her. She waved dismissively, her bracelets chiming like tiny alarms. "Don't be silly, dear. You have enough to worry about tonight." "That money was given to me and Adam," I said more firmly. Her eyes flicked toward Lily, who stared at the carpet nervously. "Your sister's struggling right now," my mother said, tone suddenly heavy. "She's been between jobs. Her apartment rent is due again." "So you're taking our wedding money to pay her bills?" I asked coldly. "It's only a small portion," she replied, shrugging like it meant nothing. "How much?" I demanded, my stomach already knowing the answer. 6,250, she said quietly, almost proud of the precision. The exact amount Adam and I had saved to clear our student loans. They had counted it, planned it, decided it was theirs. "That's theft," I said, the word sharp, final, echoing between us. Lily's eyes filled with tears on cue, her voice soft and trembling. "You've always had everything, Claire. I just need help this one time." Her tone twisted the knife deeper, guilt as their favorite weapon. "You think my life has been easy," I whispered, barely containing the anger. My mother's face hardened. "We're your family, we help each other." "No," I said, my voice finally steady. "You use me." Every memory came rushing back, every time Lily wanted something and got it. Every time I was told to be understanding, to be the responsible one. I saw it all clearly now, the pattern, the manipulation, the debt that was never mine. "I want the envelopes now," I said, holding out my hand again. My mother's smile faltered, the mask slipping for just a second. "Claire," she said softly, almost pleading, "don't make a scene." "Too late," I said, because the scene was already burning around us. I grabbed the clutch from her hand before she could react. The weight of the envelopes inside felt heavier than gold. Lily gasped. My mother's eyes went cold, calculating, dangerous. Across the room, guests turned to look, sensing the tension. Adam caught my gaze from across the dance floor, confusion in his eyes. And in that moment, I knew there was no going back. The facade of family love had shattered, right there among champagne and roses. I stood straighter, the envelopes clutched to my chest like proof of war. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the quiet, obedient daughter anymore. For the first time, I was the one taking something back. The hotel manager noticed the tension and stepped closer, concern in his eyes. "Is everything all right?" he asked, glancing between us. "My family just needs a private room," I said quickly, forcing a smile. He nodded and led us to a small office near the back hallway. The silence was thick as we walked, only the click of my heels filling the air. Inside, my mother sat down gracefully, crossing her legs like nothing was wrong. Lily perched beside her, dabbing at dry eyes with a napkin. I stayed standing, clutching the envelopes to my chest like armor. "Claire, sit down," my mother said softly, her tone rehearsed and patronizing. "You're overreacting. We were only trying to help." "Help," I said, my voice breaking on the word. "By stealing." Lily looked away, twisting her bracelet nervously. "It's not stealing when it's family," my mother replied calmly. My jaw tightened. It is when you never ask. The door opened and my father, Thomas, entered, adjusting his tie. He avoided my eyes, already siding with her before a word was spoken. "We've been helping Lily for years," he said, his tone tired but defensive. "She's trying to get her life together, You can afford to share. I laughed, bitter and small. Share, you mean sacrifice. My mother sighed dramatically, as if I were the one causing the problem. You and Adam both have stable jobs. Lily just needs a chance. The familiar script, the same justification I'd heard all my life. When Lily dropped out of college, I paid my own tuition. When she quit her third job, they used my savings to support her dream. Now, even my wedding wasn't safe from their pattern of taking. Do you even realize what this money means to us? I asked quietly. My mother waved her hand. Money can be replaced, dear. Family can't. My chest tightened with a mix of anger and grief. That's funny, I said, because you never acted like I was part of that family. My father shifted, his guilt visible but unspoken. Lily sniffled, her voice trembling perfectly. You're making this worse. No, Lily, I said. You made it worse when you decided what was mine was yours. I turned to my mother. How long did you plan this? Her lips twitched. Don't be dramatic, we were simply being practical. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. Practical is budgeting your life. This is betrayal. The word hung in the air, sharp and heavy. No one spoke for a long moment. Then the door opened again, and Adam appeared in the doorway. His expression shifted as he took in the scene. The envelopes, my shaking hands. What's going on here? He asked calmly. My mother smiled faintly, as if she could still charm her way through it. Just a misunderstanding, she said sweetly. Adam looked at me, then at her. I don't think so. He stepped closer, his hand brushing mine in silent reassurance. For the first time that night, I didn't feel alone. And in that tiny office filled with lies, something inside me hardened. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about every time they'd taken something and called it love. Adam closed the door behind him, the soft click sounding louder than any shout. He looked at my mother, then at my father, his calmness sharper than anger. These envelopes belong to Claire and me, he said, his voice steady. My mother gave a light laugh, when she used to mask discomfort. Oh, Adam, we're just keeping them safe for now, she said, feigning innocence. No, he replied, you're keeping them for yourselves. Her smile faltered, the air in the room shifting with unspoken tension. You're misunderstanding, my father added quickly, his tone defensive. We only wanted to help Lily. She's family. Adam met his gaze without blinking. So is Claire. Silence fell again, thick and heavy. I could feel my heartbeat in my fingertips. But I didn't look away. For years, I said quietly, you've all told me to understand, to forgive. You said family means helping each other, but it always meant me helping her. My mother's lips tightened, a flash of irritation breaking through her mask. Don't twist this into something ugly, Claire. We did nothing wrong. Adam reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small folder. He placed it on the table between us, the sound deliberate and final. Our lawyer prepared this, he said evenly. It confirms all wedding gifts legally belong to the married couple. My father frowned. You brought a lawyer into this. Adam nodded once. We prepared for every possibility. My mother's face drained of color, the confidence slipping from her expression. You expected this to happen, she asked, almost whispering. Adam's tone was calm, but there was steel beneath it. We hoped it wouldn't, but experience told us otherwise. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. I could almost see the realization hit her. She'd lost control. I took a step closer to the table, laying the envelopes beside the folder. These aren't just pieces of paper, I said, my voice steady now. They're proof that I'm done letting you take what's mine. Lily's face twisted, anger overtaking her usual fake tears. This is ridiculous, she snapped. You already have everything. I turned to her slowly, meeting her glare head-on. No, Lily, I said softly. I earned everything I have, you just took. The words landed hard, sharper than I intended. She looked away, her cheeks burning with humiliation. My mother inhaled sharply, her pride crumbling in front of everyone. My father rubbed his temples, avoiding both my eyes and Adam's. Adam gathered the documents again, his movements calm and precise. "We're done discussing this," he said, turning toward me. I nodded, feeling something inside me settle, a strange, clean strength. My mother's voice cracked behind us. "If you do this, you'll regret it." I paused by the door, my hand on the handle. "No," I said, looking back at her one last time. "I'll finally be free." And for the first time in my life, she had no words left to take from me. My mother's voice rose, sharp and trembling with fake heartbreak. "You would turn your back on your own family over a little money?" she asked. Her hand reached toward me, trembling just enough to look sincere. I stepped back, the distance between us finally feeling right. "It's not about money," I said quietly. "It's about respect." She scoffed, her eyes flashing. "Respect? You think you've earned it?" "For 30 years, I've tried to," I answered, my tone firm but calm. "All I ever did was give, while you taught me that love had conditions." Lily crossed her arms, tears long gone. "You're so dramatic," she muttered. "Maybe if you weren't always trying to be perfect, Mom wouldn't compare us." The words hit like a slap, but I didn't flinch. "I didn't ask to be compared," I said. "I just asked to be seen." My father cleared his throat, his usual signal that I should drop the topic. "Claire, this isn't the place," he said quietly. I turned to him. "When is the right place, Dad? When it's too late?" He looked away, the guilt too heavy for him to carry. My mother stood, her expression hardening into something cold and controlled. "You're being ungrateful," she said, "after everything we've done for you." "Name one thing you did for me that wasn't also for Lily," I said softly. She froze, lips parting but no words coming out. The silence was louder than shouting, and it broke something between us. I took a deep breath, the kind that steadies rather than shakes. "All my life, I believed keeping peace meant keeping quiet," I continued. "But peace built on silence is just submission dressed as love." Lily rolled her eyes, her voice sharp with envy. "You think you're better than us because you have him," she sneered. Adam took a small step closer, his hand brushing mine again. "No," I said. "I think I'm finally better for myself." My mother's face flushed with fury, her hands tightening into fists. "Be careful what you say," she warned. "Words can't be taken back." "Good," I replied, "because I'm done taking back everything to please you." For a moment, no one moved. The air felt electric, heavy with truth. Adam's presence grounded me, quiet and unwavering. He didn't have to speak. His silence was strength enough. "I'm done begging for love that comes with strings attached," I said. "I'm done being the easy daughter, the fixer, the quiet one." Lily opened her mouth, but my mother silenced her with a glare. The power she once held over me was slipping, and she knew it. "You'll regret this," she whispered. "Maybe," I said, "but at least the regret will be mine, not yours." My hand found Adam's, warm and certain. In that moment, the years of guilt and smallness began to fade. They could no longer twist my choices into debts I owed them. The woman who always said yes finally learned how to say no. And in the silence that followed, I felt something break and something heal. The ballroom lights shimmered when Adam and I stepped back inside. Conversations paused, eyes turning toward us as whispers rippled through the room. I could still feel the heat of my mother's glare burning between my shoulder blades. The weight of what had just happened clung to me like a shadow. But I lifted my chin and smiled anyway, refusing to let them see my fear. The band shifted songs, and the soft murmur of guests filled the silence again. Adam squeezed my hand gently, his thumb tracing reassurance into my skin. "It's your moment," he whispered. "Don't let them take it." I nodded, the lump in my throat turning into quiet resolve. The wedding coordinator handed me the microphone, her eyes full of concern. I thanked her and turned to face everyone gathered under the golden lights. "Thank you all for being here tonight," I began, voice steady despite my racing pulse. The crowd stilled, listening, champagne glasses frozen midair. Adam and I are overwhelmed by your kindness, your presence, and your support. I paused, scanning the crowd until my gaze found my mother and father at the edge. They stood still, pretending calm, but I saw the tension in their eyes. Every gift and every word of love you've shared reminds us of what family means. I smiled toward Adam's parents, seated near the front, their faces warm and kind. Some people show love through control, I continued, and others through trust. A ripple of quiet curiosity spread across the room. But tonight, I've learned that real family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about those who lift you up without asking for anything in return. A few guests nodded softly, sensing the truth behind my words. I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I said, looking at Adam's parents, for welcoming me as your own, for proving that love can be simple and pure. The crowd applauded, polite but genuine. I caught a glimpse of my mother stiffening, her jaw tightening. Her hand clutched her purse like it was the only thing holding her together. Beside her, Lily avoided my gaze, cheeks red with humiliation. I turned back to the crowd, feeling lighter with every word that left my lips. To everyone who believed in us, your kindness will help us build our future. Your gifts will start our new life together, and we'll honor them with gratitude. My voice trembled slightly, but I didn't stop. This day isn't just about celebration, I said softly. It's about clarity. Applause grew louder, filling the room like a wave of light. Adam reached for me, pride glowing in his eyes. You did it, he whispered as I handed back the microphone. I smiled, my heart finally quiet, my breathing calm. Across the room, my parents began gathering their things, avoiding eye contact. Guests noticed, whispering as they slipped toward the exit. I didn't chase after them this time. For once, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt released. The band started playing again, and Adam pulled me close. The music swelled around us, sweet and full, as if the world was exhaling. We danced, surrounded by warmth and light, while the ghosts of control faded away. And when I rested my head on his shoulder, I knew I'd found home at last. 6 months passed, soft and quiet, like a sunrise I hadn't noticed arriving. Our apartment was small but full of light, and every corner felt like peace. Adam worked at the table each morning, his laptop glowing beside his coffee. Sometimes I caught him smiling at me, the kind that made everything still. We spoke about plans, savings, and the small house we'd buy by next summer. For once, money wasn't fear, it was freedom we'd built together. I arranged flowers near the window, white lilies opening in slow silence. The world outside moved fast, but inside, time finally belonged to me. The phone buzzed one evening while we cooked dinner, laughter filling the air. A message flashed on the screen, the name I hadn't seen in months. It was Lily. Her words appeared simple, almost pleading. Car broke down. Need $800, please help. I stared at the message for a long time, the air around me stilling. 6 months ago, guilt would have swallowed me whole. I would have reached for my wallet, heart tangled in duty and shame. But now, the weight of her words didn't hold the same power. I typed one word back, no. Then I set the phone down and returned to stirring the sauce. Adam glanced up, sensing the shift, his voice calm. Everything okay? Yes, I said, and I meant it for the first time in years. The next morning, sunlight spilled across our bed, warm and golden. I made coffee while Adam read the paper, his laughter echoing softly. Later, friends came by. Monica brought pie, Adam's parents brought wine. They filled our home with noise, love, and stories that didn't hurt. When Robert raised his glass, his words wrapped around me like a promise. To building the family you choose, he said. Everyone clinked glasses, the sound bright and full of hope. That night, after everyone left, I sat on the floor beside an old box. Inside were the pieces of a life I'd outgrown, journals, photos, old receipts. pages filled with lists of what I gave and what I lost. Every line once proof that I wasn't crazy, that the pain was real. I touched the cover gently, then closed it for the last time. The sound of the tape sealing the box felt final, almost holy. I pushed it to the back of the closet and stood in the quiet. No more keeping records of pain to prove my worth. No more waiting for apologies that would never come. In the mirror, my reflection looked softer, lighter, whole. Adam came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my shoulders. "We're really doing it," he whispered. "Yes," I said, smiling at our reflection. "We already are." Outside, the city lights shimmered like promises waiting to be kept. For the first time, the future didn't scare me. It felt earned. And as I turned off the light, I knew I'd never go back again. Freedom didn't come with fireworks. It came with quiet peace, and the sound of my own heart finally at rest. The morning light poured through the window, soft and forgiving. I poured 2 cups of coffee and watched the steam curl into quiet air. Adam smiled at me from across the room, and everything felt right. There was no noise from the past, no echoes of guilt or demand. Just the calm rhythm of a life I'd finally chosen for myself. I glanced at the wall where our wedding photo hung, glowing in sunlight. We looked free there, 2 people who had survived love and expectation. The phone buzzed again, but I didn't move to check it. Some doors, once closed, don't need to open anymore. I'd spent years mistaking obedience for kindness, silence for peace. Now I understood that love without respect isn't love at all. Family isn't bound by blood, but by choice, by grace, by effort. I'd stopped chasing approval and started building belonging. The world outside was still unpredictable, but inside I was steady. I took a sip of coffee, the warmth spreading through my chest. For the first time, I wasn't defined by who I had to forgive. I was defined by who I became after I did. And that, finally, was enough.